The first thing she heard was the laughter. The second was the metal door slamming shut behind her. And the third, low, ragged, hungry, was the growl of a dog that had not been fed in days. Someone spat the words through the bars like a sentence already decided. Die now, Btch. They had no idea who she was. And that mistake would change every one of them forever. No one noticed her when she arrived at the compound. That was the problem and the point. She wore no rank patches that stood out, no swagger, no loud confidence. Just a tight posture, eyes forward, duffel bag in hand. The men glanced once and looked away. Another trainee. Another body to break or discard. Her name was Riley Knox. She had learned long ago that silence was safer than explanation. The SEALs running this off-books evaluation weren't supposed to be cruel. This was a selection course meant to test limits, not humanity. But power, when left alone too long, rots. And the moment they saw Riley, small-framed, calm, female, something ugly surfaced. She won't last a week, one of them muttered. She won't last tonight, another replied, grinning. Riley felt it immediately. The shift in air. The way eyes followed her a second too long. The way questions weren't asked, because answers didn't matter. She had been here before, not this place, but this feeling. Being underestimated wasn't new. Being targeted wasn't either. What was new was how far they were willing to go. The K9 unit was kept at the far edge of the compound. One pen, in particular, was used as a warning. A massive Belgian Malinois, once elite, now unstable after a bad rotation in months without proper handling. The dog was aggressive, unpredictable, and intentionally underfed to keep him sharp. No one went near that pen unless ordered. That night, after lights out, Riley was pulled from her bunk. No shouting. No paperwork. Just hands on her arms and laughter in low voices. You want to be one of us, someone said. Prove it. They marched her across the gravel, moonlight cutting everything into silver and shadow. Riley didn't resist. Not because she was afraid, but because she was counting steps. Smelling the air. Listening. When she saw the pen, her stomach tightened, not in fear, but in recognition. The dog smelled wrong. Not wild. Not feral. Confused. Starving. Broken. They shoved her forward. Metal screeched. The gate opened. Let's see how tough you are, a voice said. Then the gate slammed shut. Riley stood alone in the pen. The dog lifted its head. And everything changed. The men waited for screaming. They waited for running. For panic. For blood. Instead, they heard a voice, low, steady, and heartbreakingly gentle. Hey, boy, Riley whispered, kneeling slowly, deliberately. I know. I know. The dog froze. Not lunging. Not growling. Listening. Riley didn't reach out. She didn't make eye contact. She angled her body sideways, reduced her threat, breathed slow enough for him to match it. Her hands rested open on her thighs. The men outside the pen started shifting. What the hell is she doing? Inside, Riley felt the dog's fear like a second heartbeat. He was trained. Abused. Forgotten. Just like she had been, once. She spoke to him the way she wished someone had spoken to her years ago, after the crash, after the war took her brother, after silence became survival. You're not bad, she murmured. You're just hurting. The dog crept closer. One step. Then another. A man outside laughed nervously. This is gonna end bad. But it didn't. The dog pressed his head into her chest and broke. Not violently. Emotionally. When the handlers arrived minutes later, weapons raised, they found Riley sitting in the dirt, arms around the dog, whispering his name through tears. The same name written on the faded tag no one had bothered to read. The silence that followed was louder than gunfire. The truth came out fast after that. Riley Knox wasn't a trainee. She was the canine behavioral specialist assigned to evaluate the unit. A former handler with more deployments than half the men combined. She had been sent in unannounced to observe culture, ethics, restraint. They had failed. Every one of them. The investigation dismantled the program within weeks. Careers ended. Silence was broken. The dog, his name was Atlas, was rehabilitated, fed, trained, loved. And Riley? She stayed. Not for them, but for the ones who couldn't speak. Years later, new handlers would hear the story during orientation. About the night arrogance met quiet strength. About the woman who walked into a pen meant for death and walked out with trust instead. The lesson was never about power. It was about respect. Because the most dangerous thing in the world isn't a starved dog or a hardened soldier. It's the moment you decide someone's life is worth less than your ego. And sometimes, the one you try to break is the one who was always meant to lead.